Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Lana Zanatino. I'm the Teaching Program Director in Social Work and also the Master of Social Work Course Coordinator.
Hi everyone, I'm Louise Butler. I'm the course coordinator for the Graduate Certificate in Trauma and Responsive Practice.
And do we want to introduce, I think Luke's got the microphone, but he...
Oh, hello. My name is Luke. I see lots of familiar faces from our GCSI days, which is lovely. I'm here, I'm the Student Success Lead for the Social Work, and I'm here just keeping an eye on the online activity.
Thanks, Luke. So welcome everyone to the College of Education, Psychology and Social Work. And we'll just start with, I'm trying to get to the next slide, but I seem to be having an issue. Is it with these keys? Is this key, isn't it? Or is it, I'm using that one. Oh, from here. Okay. So just acknowledgement of country before we continue. Flinders University acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which its campuses are located. Welcome. We teach and learn across a broad range of Aboriginal lands. We honour their elders past, present and emerging. We meet today on Kaurna land, so welcome to Kaurna country. The Uluru Statement recognises that First Nations sovereignty has never been ceded and that this sovereignty comes from the ancestral tie between the land and its people. So always was and always will be Aboriginal land. So this session today is really about giving you a bit of an overview, a bit of an orientation to the discipline of social work and to the college. So the course, and there's two courses that we'll cover, the Master of Social Work Graduate Entry Program and the Grad Cert Trauma Responsive Practice. And this is just to give you a bit of an overview of the college that the social work discipline sits within. And we're happy to answer any or all of your questions as we get towards the end of the session. So just keep them in your mind as we go. So it's about getting your essentials sorted. So firstly, your network, so your Wi-Fi capacity, EduRoam, having your username. I'm assuming that these slides are available to you all. So you can refer back. You don't need to necessarily write things down now. You can refer back to the slides. So getting your username and your password. So they're really essential because you can't kind of access anything without your FAN and password. So for more information, you can visit that site. It's students.flinders.edu.au/support computing Wi-Fi. Your student ID card. So you can request your ID card by selecting Order My ID Card under the Quick Links section of Compass. So it's again, that's another link to access. The new students website. So the new student section of Compass has information on how to enrol and register in classes. So again, you've got another website address there. If you need help, submit a support request via flinders.edu.au/ask or call Flinders Connect. I think it's probably preferable to support requests via that address. But if need be, you can always call Flinders Connect on that number. So enrol and register in classes. So step one is to enrol in your topics. So log into the student system, select My Enrolment tab, agree to the declaration, scroll down to see the topics available for your course, and then place a tick next to the topics that you want to enrol in and save your changes. Step two is register for your classes. So there are a number of classes for each topic at different times of the day, different times of the week. So log into the student system, select the My Timetable tab and select the study period, select change or register for each topic, and then click on the plus to select a class and then select save. So it's quite kind of straightforward and self-explanatory really once you get into the system. And the unique student identifier, so from the beginning of this year, all tertiary students must have a unique student identifier, commonly referred to as a USI. So new students applying for Commonwealth assistance will need to provide their USI on the Commonwealth assistance form to receive financial help. So you'll need to check if you have a USI. So please visit that website if you're not sure whether you've got one, to check whether you have or haven't. And if you don't have a USI, you will need to apply for one. And we do chase up students who don't have a USI, so please get one. If you don't have one already, that would be great. Thank you. And so just get familiar with your learning environment. So Flinders Learning Online, commonly referred to as Flow, is the learning management system, LMS, at Flinders Uni. But you will be learning across 2 learning management systems because we're in a period of transition. So we're transitioning all our topics from the, I think it's called the, what's the background? Moodle, I always forget that. So we're transferring from the Moodle LMS, learning management system, to the Canvas learning management system. And so some topics are still in what we still call Flow, and others are transitioning into Canvas. And so if you want to know which LMS your topic is in, just go to students.flinders.edu.au/Canvas, and the topics listed on this webpage will be taught in Canvas. And use your Flinders Okta dashboard to navigate to Canvas. The topics not listed on the Canvas page will be taught in Flow, as has been up to this point of transition. To find out more, you can register for one of our Intro to Flow Canvas and textbook sessions via the orientation planner with the address there. I think whichever LMS your topic is in, whether it's Flow or Canvas or Moodle or Canvas, you will find it easy, relatively easy to navigate those sites. They're pretty well set up. So yeah, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. Transport. So there's parking, but you will need a parking permit, and you can apply for that at flinders.edu.au/parking. Train, there's the Flinders railway station, which is 22 minutes to the city. And then there's the Loop bus, which is that free bus service. And that just links the Flinders campuses, so Sturt and Bedford Park, etc. And links to public transport options, so buses and things like that. And you can download the Bus Minder app. Okay, so inclusion and accessibility on campus. So students who identify with having a disability, including mental health and/or medical conditions, can book a one-to-one tour of the campus using accessible routes. So someone to kind of show you where all the routes are that you can take if you have particular disabilities that require modification of particular routes, how to get from one building to the other, etc. So you can book a tour via the orientation planner, and also the accessible Bedford Park campus map provides details of all of our facilities and services, including lifts and accessible bathrooms. There are scholarships up for grabs. So a range of scholarships will be given away based on financial need or academic merit. And most of them only take about 5 minutes to apply for. So please consider doing that. Safety. If you experience or witness unacceptable behaviour or harassment, please make a confidential report. You can do that online, so search for safety on campus at flinders.edu.au or email students eo@flinders.edu.au or phone. So making a report does not initiate a complaint. It's the first step to offer you a confidential support and information service, and a bit of information about what you can do next and how we can help. But it's really important to seek out that help if you've witnessed unacceptable behaviour or harassment at any time. There's the Health and Counselling and Disability Service. So that's a really important service here at the university. So through that service, you can see a doctor or a nurse, chat with a counsellor, talk with a disability advisor about studying with a health or mental health condition, and access a range of self-help resources. So they can be contacted on that phone number, 9 to 5 weekdays, and via those email addresses. There's also an after-hours crisis support line and SMS number as well. So please make the most of the health and counselling and disability services should you require it. Oasis is our student wellbeing centre, and it's located here on the Bedford Park campus. It's a student community wellbeing centre focused on supporting the physical, emotional, social and spiritual needs of students so they can achieve academic and personal success. So we call it wellbeing for success. And there's a range of things that Oasis offers or that you can engage with in Oasis. So you can see a number of those on the right-hand side of the slide there. Conversation groups, volunteer programs, mental fitness, chaplaincy, you know, there's a whole range of things there. Really good stuff happening there. Diversity. So here at Flinders, we actively promote awareness of and respect for the diversity of our staff and students. And so some of our services include prayer rooms, conversation groups, equal opportunity advisors, Pride Network, and Good Vibes Experiment. And you can find out more by visiting that web address there at the bottom of the slide. Okay. Textbooks. Your required textbooks and resources are available on the student website at that address. Make the most of orientation. So make the most of this time to ask questions of each other, of us. I'm available as the MSW course coordinator to answer your questions, as would Louise be for the grad cert. So please don't hesitate to come forward and reach out and ask. We're happy to help you. But make the most of this time this week. So O Week runs all of this week. So finding your way at Flinders, log into Flow or Canvas, search for Finding Your Way at Flinders, our online orientation topic. So that's a topic that just kind of takes you on a bit of an expedition and a bit of an orientation. Get familiar with Flinders and how university works, explore some of the skills you'll need, discover tricks and shortcuts to help you study. They're always handy, tricks and shortcuts to study. Find out about the support service at Flinders and watch the videos. So it's a really good little topic to have a look at to orientate yourselves. Join the club and find your community with FUSA. There's over 80 different clubs to join, plenty of ways for you to get involved in uni life at Flinders. Community clubs such as the Queer Collective, Students and Disabilities Association, Mature Age Students Collective, academic clubs such as the Business Students Association, etc. Cultural clubs such as the Indian Student Association and Indonesian Students Association. There's special interest clubs such as Performing Arts Society and political and social justice clubs such as the Health and Human Rights Club, Sustainability and Environment Club. So some of those things are worth checking out just as an aspect to the study and work that you're doing at university. It's always lovely to have that social element as well. Unify is our student connection program that's been designed to offer fun, interactive sessions to meet your peers, form friendships and develop your confidence. So check out Unify. Help is always available, as I said before. Please reach out. Orientation videos. So check out the orientation video library, which includes topics such as Ready to Go, so essential study skills for uni, student clubs, what are they and why would I join one? That's certainly a good question. And I'm sure you would get some answers from the video library. Introduction to Health and Wellbeing Services available at Flinders, Ready to Go, Understanding Assignments and Grades, course study area and college welcome sessions. So you can find out more at students.flinders.edu.au/orientation. So they're worth checking out, those videos. Connect Week is all of next week. So O Week this week, Connect Week next week, which gives you more of a chance to connect with your peers and staff, etc., with each other. Lots of good opportunities in Connect Week. So the Welcome Hub, Quiz Night, Unify, movie nights, fair days, meditation, conversation, live music, clubs and information. There'll be a lot going on campus. So walk around, have a look, enjoy. A final few tips. Keep an eye out in your inbox of student news. Connect with new friends through Unify. Follow the social media updates. Join FUSA and seek help if you need from students.flinders.edu.au/support. So that's kind of like a first port of call if you need help, but obviously reach out to us as course coordinators for your more topic course related questions. So again, welcome. I'm Lana Zanatino, as I mentioned before, course coordinator of the Master of Social Work Graduate Entry Program, and I'll just talk a little bit about that program. And if you've got any questions, please, you may ask those when we get to the end of these few slides. Shouldn't take too long. And Miss Louise Butler, who will talk to you, who's the course coordinator of the Grad Cert in Trauma Responsive Practice, will speak about that particular program once I've talked about the Masters. And the Master of Social Work. And how many of you here are doing the Master of Social Work? Okay, so most of you. Okay, good. Okay, definition of social work. I'm sure you've all studied this definition by now, but I will read it out to you. Social work is a practice-based profession and an academic discipline that promotes social change and development, social cohesion, and the empowerment and liberation of people. Principles of social justice, human rights, collective responsibility, and respect for diversities are central to social work. Underpinned by theories of social work, social sciences, humanities, and Indigenous knowledge, social work engages people and structures to address life challenges and enhance well-being. So there's some key words there: social change, social cohesion, empowerment, liberation, social justice, human rights, respect for diversities, Indigenous knowledge. These are kind of key words and phrases that you'll come across time and time again as you work through the MSW or the grad cert. So about the Master of Social Work, it's a 70-unit postgraduate program. It's taught over a 2-year period, full-time. The model of delivery is in-person or online or a blend of both. It's accredited by the Australian Association of Social Workers. So we often refer to that professional body as the AASW. And graduates of the MSW are eligible for membership with the Australian Association of Social Workers, so the AASW. So the AASW accredits both the Bachelor of Social Work and the Masters of Social Work qualifications for entry into the profession. And graduates of accredited social work courses are eligible for membership to the AASW. The profession is regulated, so the social work profession is regulated by the AASW, which sets standards for social work practice, ethics and education. And eligibility for membership to the AASW is the benchmark for qualified practice in Australia. So you don't necessarily have to be registered with the AASW, but you need to be eligible for registration with the AASW when you finish your program. That's the benchmark for practice. So you need to be eligible for registration to practice as a social worker, which you will do and will be if you successfully graduate from your program. Graduate attributes. So the Australian Social Work Education and Accreditation Standards, as we call ASWEAS, we constantly refer to the ASWEAS. So that's the Australian Social Work Education and Accreditation Standards. They set the principles and graduate attributes for social work education in Australia. They're the criteria for the ASW accreditation of professional social work courses across the country. So these graduate attributes are pretty much a nationally recognised attributes for the graduate of a social work program. So it's about graduates practicing in accordance with the AASW Code of Ethics and be able to manage ethical dilemmas, be professional and represent social work profession with integrity, work inclusively, respectfully and responsively to cultural diversity, including working with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Understanding how systems, knowledge, including theories and research influence different areas of practice. Be able to assess needs, implement a range of social work methods and be able to think critically. That's very important, being able to think critically. Have the ability to work within a team and communicate with a diverse range of people. Manage and record information appropriately in accordance with ethical and legislative principles. Actively participate in supervision and professional development. So they're the graduate attributes, the things that you need to have or will have when you finish your program at the end of your program. Okay, this is a study planner, which, I mean, I don't want to read out what each of the topics are, but I will cover what some of the topics cover. But just to say, this is, have a look at this planner. It's good to kind of get your head around what you think, what the topics are that you're going to be studying in each of your semesters across this 2-year program. But just to go to the next slide here, just to say that that study plan is a guide only. So you're responsible for ensuring that you have completed the study according to the official course rule. The topic information for all topics, including prerequisites, can be found on the topic page. The topic prerequisites are noted in red. So if we go back to that study guide, you can see that the prerequisite topics. So they're the topics that you need to pass in order to get into the topic. So SOAD 9206, for example, social work research and practice settings. The prerequisite topics for that are SOAD 9102, 9060, 8020 and 8021. These are things you'll become more familiar with as you work through. So as I said, the prerequisite topics, the ones in red, cannot be undertaken without having passed the prerequisite topics unless there is course coordinator approval. So you would need to have a conversation with me as the course coordinator in that event if you're doing the Master of Social Work program. General enrolment assistance, again, is available via Ask Flinders. And for specific course advice, please email courseadvice.epsw@flinders.edu.au. So you have all that information at hand if you need it. So just going back a little bit here, just about what's covered. So in the first year, given that you're mid-entry students, so you're beginning in semester 2. So in that first semester, so the next semester now that you're about to go into, you'll be looking at understanding diversity and being culturally responsive. You'll be looking at working with individuals. You'll be looking at understanding working in professional contexts and social work role, and be looking at knowledge and theories that inform social work. So they're the areas that your topics in this current semester you're about to go into will cover. And then next year, in semester 1, you'll do your field education placement, which is really exciting, going on field education placement and putting into practice the things that you've learned in class. So integrating your learning, it's a great opportunity. You'll also do social work in groups and community, and you'll also look at the importance of research and how it informs social work practice. And then in your second semester of next year, you'll look at trauma and resilience, social work in the context of mental health, complexities in working with children and families, and you'll also look at social policy and social issues. And then in the third year, the final year in semester 1, you'll do your second placement. And then you'll also do topics associated with social work with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And you will also do integrity in social work practice, which is like the capstone topic for the program. That kind of just finishes everything off beautifully for you. And works really, that topic works beautifully with your placement. You're able to draw from your placement experiences in that topic. So it's a really good opportunity as well. So, so that's sort of covering the topic areas, the subject areas that the program covers. And of course, you can find out more information about individual topics by going to the topic sites, of course. The topic flow site or the topic canvas site, you'll be able to see what each topic in detail is about and what the learning outcomes are, etc. So really look closely at the learning outcomes and the assessments as well. Expectations, so inherent requirements. So just having a quick look here at the inherent requirements. So there are essential abilities and skills and behaviours that are required to maintain your success as a student in the program. So if you've got a moment, it's worth having a look at the inherent requirements. So what the personal capacities are, you know, integrity, self-awareness, self-management, interpersonal capacities, communication, relating to others, cognitive capacities, literacy, cognition. So it's worth having a look in there and just getting yourself across what those inherent requirements are. There's also the Charter on Professional Conduct for student social workers. So that can be accessed on the MSW graduate entry course site once you're enrolled. Have a look in there about what the expectations are for professional conduct for yourself as a social worker, a social work student, particularly when you're on field education placement. It's really important that you have a really good understanding of professional conduct. Recognition of prior learning. Now this relates to first placement only. So you might be heading into your first placement, which you will in the first half of next year. If you do have work experience or some kind of professional experience that you think you would like credited towards your first placement, that's certainly something that you can apply for, and that can be assessed. The requirements for RPL, recognition of prior learning, are set out by the Australian Association of Social Workers, again, ASW, and outlined in their education and accreditation standards. And eligibility to apply for RPL is based on the currency and relevance of your formal work experience. So there's a number of criteria you need to meet in order to get RPL for your first placement. The granting of RPL for field education topic is considered very carefully. It's not automatic. So if you're interested in applying, it's really important that you continue to engage in the placement planning process for your first placement. This will ensure that if your application is not successful for RPL, that you are still able to progress into your first placement. But if you want more information about the RPL, there is information on the Flinders University website. Okay, international student services. There's a range of services for international students. They can do a lot for you if you're an international student, provide orientation, including Flinders International Student Orientation via ISS Flow, information sessions, check your email, a welcome event on the 24th of, well, that's not correct, 24th of February, that's next year. So we might have, I don't know if we've got a date for one this coming semester, but that might be worth, yeah, having a look. But I would imagine there would be a welcome event. You can discuss your personal and academic concerns with them. They provide guidance and information for you, organise activities, tours and events, issue letters. So you might have particular letters that you need to support your studies. They can support you with those. They offer volunteering programs and they connect you with other support services. So they're a great service. Okay, well, I've come to the end of the MSW program. So are there any questions before we move on to Louise, who's going to talk about the Grad Cert and Trauma Responsive Practice program? Any questions around the MSW? I'm sure you have lots of questions. You just need time to digest. Hi. Yes. Yeah, well, basically everyone, whether they're on campus or online, they access all their learning stuff online. So you would have, so if you're enrolled in, say, one of the topics, which you will be, you just go into that topic's Canvas or flow site, and everything is there. If it's in Canvas, it's probably week by week. You'll find there's weekly modules, and you just go through and work through. Yeah.
Just say, you will only get access to your topic 7 days before it starts. If you are enrolled in a semester 2 topic, you will have got access today. If it's a non-semester 2 topic, it will be 7 days before the start of that topic. So you just need to check the dates of your topic.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Really important point. But yes,
You're looking last week, that's why it wasn't there.
but yes, it'll be there. Yes, indeed. And you just follow through, and there'll be, you know, online lectures and all sorts of activities where you can engage really well online. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Yes.
Is there a support center for like if I have further questions about my business or study center, where can I go?
Well, normally it depends on the type of question, but I think normally come to me as the MSW course coordinator first, if you like, and then I can kind of, you know, say, well, go to that person or that person. I try to be this kind of main key person at first. So yeah, so anything that you think you're not sure where to go, I'm happy to yeah. So just drop me an email, or, you know, yeah, happy to help. Yeah. And did you have a question? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you could go first.
Yeah. So if you, sorry, I'm stand up this one. If you have come from the Graduate Certificate in Society and Individual, if you are a domestic student, you need to have submitted your application through SAPAC, so that we can process it. If you are an international student and you are coming from the grad cert into the masters, you need to ensure that the international office knows that you're wanting to come straight into the Master of Social Work, but they weren't able to start processing that until today because the grades only went in on Friday. So we are doing that as quickly as possible. We do know there's about 100 of you. So we do know that you'll be coming into the Master of Social Work. If you do not hear from us by, I would say, Wednesday or Thursday this week, submit and ask Linda's request, and we will start getting to it hopefully more quickly. But we do know about you, and we are going to get you admitted and enrolled as quickly as we can. So, yeah. You do know, unfortunately, since grades only went in last week, we're just trying to get this process as quickly as possible. But I do know that there are a lot of you, so very happy to have you come in.
Thanks so much, Jackie. Thank you. I hope that's, yeah. Any other questions?
We have a couple of online ones.
Oh, yep, sure.
So we just had a great question about the topics that are intensive, just maybe when some of those Canvas sites open up. How long before the intensive topic will students be able to access the topic?
Oh, I think it's the week before. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, the week before the on.
It's not a week before the intensive.
It's the pre-work.
Pre-work stuff.
Yes.
So a lot of them is actually this week or next week.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Jackie.
So that international students services, it's July 21st at 11:30 at the hub is when that
Thank
event
you.
is on.
Thanks very much, Luke.
No worries.
Okay, well, I shall leave you to it. Welcome again. It is so lovely having you. We love students, so thank you for being here. And I will see you as we go. Take care. Louise.
Hello, everyone. Now, at this stage, a lot of you may not be thinking about a graduate certificate. I know there could be people online who are interested in the graduate certificate of trauma and responsive practice. It's not too early to think about it if you're heading into the masters, because trauma-informed or trauma-responsive practice is becoming much more of a common qualification and an area that people are working in social work. So it may be something you're interested in doing once you have done your masters. But those of you who are coming into the graduate certificate, welcome to you all. We love having you, and usually we find people who are in this graduate certificate have got experience and are working in the sector. So quite often when people have started working and the area they're working in is saying we need you to have, or you feel as a professional that you need to have more knowledge and expertise in trauma and responsive practice. So for our graduate certificate, it's an 18-unit program, and it does sit within social work and within this college. And it is also offered internally and externally. So people are able to study that internally and have seminars periodically, or it can all be done externally. So we have students who are interstate or in remote areas, or whose work don't really permit them to come in for seminars. And that's all something that we do very easily and we're set up for. It can usually be completed in one semester if people do that full time. However, I think most people do it part time and do it over 1 year. So really, by the end of doing this graduate certificate, we expect and we know students have that opportunity to bring together and synthesize very specialist knowledge about trauma. So it's really specific about trauma that people experience. We spend time talking about trauma theory. We don't just concentrate on skills. We go back and really look at the theory, some of it newer and some of it really current and emerging, that informs us about trauma and what people experience in different situations. A lot of contemporary research that we tap into and use and help each other to understand and make sense of trauma and trauma experiences. We really use that theory, and also there are some very strong practice principles within trauma theory that help us to understand how we can support people in situations of trauma, not only individuals. We also look at how we support groups of people or even whole communities. And we work toward designing and implementing trauma-informed responses depending on the specific area or field that people are working in or researching in. We work very strongly from a culturally sensitive perspective when we look at trauma, and we take that into account with what we learn within the grad cert. And we don't just look at the individual impact of trauma or how to work with individuals and use those skills. We certainly do those things. We also look a bit further than that and look at systems and structures that might create or keep in place impacts of trauma. We look at how we can reflect and consider our own judgments and assessments that we make, and also how decisions are made at all levels that keep trauma, perpetuate trauma, or alleviate and help with situations of trauma. And then we really want you, by the end of the graduate certificate, to be able to reflect really consciously on how you work in situations of trauma, loss and trauma, and how you have developed skills and knowledge over that time to work in those areas of trauma. And that is particularly important because we expect, want, and work toward our graduates to be very confident in working in some really complex areas. We don't shy away from saying working in trauma is complex work and it can be very challenging, but in our graduate certificate, we make sure we help you work out how to continue working in that area and stay well and healthy while you sometimes work with people who are in very difficult positions. So it's a fascinating area. And as I said, we're really drawing on very contemporary research. So a lot of the work we're doing is very cutting edge in the graduate certificate. Now, many of you have met Luke before, who is our student success lead for across our programs, but also taught you, many of you, in the graduate certificate. But before we get Luke to talk about a lunch that we really all want to see you at, Luke, are there any questions about the graduate certificate? Do any of you have any questions about the graduate certificate? That's good. Luke, do you want to talk about the lunch that we are inviting everyone to?
Sure. Thank you, Louise. So just a couple of things. Lana mentioned earlier, I guess, our partnership, or one of the organisations that we work very closely with on campus is Oasis. So we're partnering with them next Tuesday, the 25th of July, free lunch for you guys at the TAV. If you don't know where that is, it is level 2 of the student hub. And so we're going to have a lunch together where there's going to be a bunch of the social work academics. So you come along, meet your student peers, start forming connections, and also meet a lot of the topic coordinators. So if you've got questions about any of the topics and things like that, we'll be all floating around. So we'll lunch from about 11:30 to 12:30. And then we're going to head down to Oasis, the centre there. And they're going to we're going to meet some of the staff there. They're going to run a session for us on getting started with study and dealing with study stress. They've one of Dr. Gareth Ferber, who's a psychologist. He's going to run that along with Chris, who's a social worker. We're going to meet those guys. So an invite should be coming to you very shortly. But if you're in that group of people that were in the GCSI and you're interested, just come let me know, because I've just got to get you added to the invite in just a slightly different way. So that's happening next Tuesday during Connect Week. So please come along if you can. The other thing I just wanted to quickly promote, that is another thing that we do and run very closely with Oasis, is what we call our social work conversation groups. So we've got 4 of those happening in semester 2. The first one is the 4th of August, so it's a Friday, from 11 to 12. And that's a place for students all across social work, so bachelor, master, wherever, doesn't matter what year you're in. And it's just a place for students to get together to meet, ask questions of each other. It's a really cool experience if you're just entering the MSW, to talk to students who are almost finished. You get the chance to ask them questions, you get to meet other students. And we have some really cool discussions around social work. What does it mean to be a social worker? And practicing those social work conversational skills. So we do run 4 of those. We're going to talk about those more next Tuesday anyway, and learn more about the services that Oasis offer. So I just wanted to spoke those 2 things, because that partnership with Oasis is really important to us, and they offer a lot of social and emotional wellbeing support to you guys. So I just want to promote those two things.
Thank you, Luke. For people who don't have their study plan yet or are still working toward being enrolled in the MSW, if you get it, when you get into the MSW, you will see that on Tuesday at that time, there is a lecture in a topic I teach called Engaging in Professional Context. And because of this session, that lecture will be recorded and will be available for people to access at any time, and it will not be on live. So you will not be missing anything. To not come to that first lecture, you will be able to watch it that night or that morning or next week at any time. So don't feel that you have to watch that lecture at that time. Our biggest priority is that you come to lunch, connect with others, and also be part of that Oasis session. So that's engaging in professional context on a Tuesday. Any questions about that? Beautiful. Okay. Any other questions generally? Perhaps things that Lana talked about or from the whole orientation? Graduate certificate, questions for Luke about what we're doing to make sure you all feel welcome and looked after? Great. Okay, well, we'll finish up there, but we'll stay around for a few minutes if you'd like to speak to us as well. Okay, thanks very much for coming.
Thanks, everyone.